Good morning, everyone. This is Nikachu, Merfolk Master, and we are here with day 101 of Coffee and MTG, the morning talk show where, you bring the questions about Magic, we'll bring the answers, and also we do deck list review on this show. If you have a deck list that you need feedback on, you submit it, and we're going to find out what's the mana curve should be. Do you got the right colors? Are you splashing an unnecessary color? You know what? You can forfeit the green here. You only got like 2 cards in your sideboard for it. Submit it and we'll give the feedback to help you make the deck the way you want it, the way you imagined it. So, wherever you are in this world, morning, afternoon, or evening, brew up a cup of coffee and let's brew up some great Magic conversation today. And as usual, we do this, of course, at twitch.tv/NikachuMTG at Mondays to Fridays, 9 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. So if you want to become part of the conversation, be part of the action here every single morning on weekdays, don't forget to check us out on Twitch, just like Grim Ducky here. Aloha. Aloha, Grim Ducky. I just realized that this is a rubber ducky in your avatar. For some reason, I thought it was like a sort of a humanoid duck shrugging his shoulders. The end part looked like a shoulder. Anyway, that's how I thought for the entire time. Mr. 5-0. Well, we got a 5-0. It happens. It definitely happens. Got a 5-0 the other day with the new Glass Pool Mimic card. Let's get some Glass Pool Mimic up here. It's probably the most influential card for Merfolk right now. Glass Pool Mimic. Oh, maybe I can shrink this. There we go. That's how I like it. That's how I like these cards. Glass Pool Mimic, 0/0 Shapeshifter Rogue, blue and 2 generic. You may have enter the battlefield as a creature, but as a it's a clone for any creature that you have on the battlefield, but can also be played as a land that taps for blue mana. Very important that this is a rogue that shares a creature type with Brazen Borrower. Also a rogue. I used to always name Fairy on these Brazen Borrowers, but now you can play Cavern of Souls on Rogue, which will hit both Brazen Borrower and the Glass Pool Mimic. So, hey, that has a little bit of synergy. So technically now we're like a Merfolk Rogue deck. A lot of people say, well, they were Merfolk Fairies. Now we have 3 rogues in the deck. 3 rogues. Can everyone name all the rogues in the Merfolk deck? We have 3 of them. 4 if you count Legacy. But we're not going to count Legacy right now. As people try to guess my really easy quiz, I'm just going to change where we are on Twitch. Switch to the Magic channel. Legacy is fucked when Brian Cook wins the Legacy Challenge playing Rug Delver. I think he was flexing. Just, I can win with anything. Wasn't that like the second consecutive win that he had? I think this shows more like how good Brian Cook is at Legacy than the positioning of Legacy, because I think he won. I'm pretty sure he won like a Legacy challenge with Storm like a week before or something like that. Maybe you could someone can correct me, but Brian Cook is just like a Legacy master. Period. Good morning, David. Good morning, Mike the mailman. How's chat doing? Chat has to answer that. I think we're doing all good. And as people start answering, I definitely need to get a sip. This would be the first sip of coffee I have this morning. Delicious. And by delicious, I mean, as I drink the coffee, it somehow is like melting ice off my brain. That's that's the best way that I can describe it. How is the format reacting to the new spell lands and stuff like Cleansing Fire? So far, the format has not reacted, in my opinion. There are decks that are using these cards, but I don't think we've seen any decks get pushed away out of the metagame. I would love to see what Cleansing Wildfire is going to do to the Tron numbers, because Tron has always been around. Tron has always been a pretty prevalent deck for an incredibly long time. Cleansing Wildfire might be what it takes to finally shrink the win percentage of Tron. I guess Tron was at its worst, but still around during the Splinter Twin metagame, just because it was a complete auto buy for the Twin player. Oh, you got a million mana? Well, I'll just tap down one of them at your upkeep, and now you don't have so much mana. And then, you can't really do it. And then I'm going to play turn 4 Twin. You can't do anything. Sorry about that. But since Twin's banning, Tron has actually been just a huge part of Modern in very large percentages, especially if you add up the Tron numbers and the Eldrazi Tron numbers. And it doesn't help that, Karn the Great Creator here has been making both archetypes better. And actually, I would say now that regular Tron has adopted Karn the Great Creator, I don't think Merfolk has a big advantage against Tron. I would usually be happy to play against Tron, but now that they can play, even if they don't have Tron mana, they can still play turn 4 Karn, get bridge, and beat me. That sucks. that sucks. And it's a powerful threat at 4 mana. So they used to be really sluggish and slow if we stifled their lands with Spreading Seas, but now they can just get to 4 mana and play a Karn the Great Creator, and it's not so bad. And it locks off the Ether Vial and the Smuggler's Copter if I really need it. So anyway, I'm really curious to know how Cleansing Wildfire is going to do to the Tron metagame. Just like how, I wouldn't say any new deck coming out, but the Rise of Prowess completely kicked out Goblins. Goblins is gone. It came and then it went, and it's totally gone now. So it would be interesting to see how Cleansing Wildfire is going to do. The spell lands, some decks are playing them. We're just gonna have to wait and see. I know there's some Death Shadow decks are trying to play the spell lands. There's a lot of people are trying to go with Rakdos Prowess, Rakdos Prowess Death Shadow, and they can utilize those cards. But we're gonna have to wait and see how it shakes out. Good morning, Niels Nielsen. Good morning, Thomas. It's obviously Sig. Come on, no one could answer that question. We have three rogues in Modern now, if we are playing with Glasspool Mimic. How about that crazy Bishark list? Can anyone link me the Bishark list? I don't want to go anywhere. Link me the Bishark list. We could quickly talk about this. Bishark has a really out there idea. Oh, he's a great player, but it'd be like if you won the Modern Challenge with Eldrazi Tron. No, it would be like if I won the Modern Challenge with Ad Nauseam or something like that. Eldrazi Tron is still almost relatively creature based, is slightly mid rangey. Brian Cook is a dedicated Storm player, and then when he's attacking with creatures, that's bizarre. So if I'm comboing off against someone, that would be bizarre. Can't say I follow Legacy very much, but thought Rug Delver was supposed to be a good deck, and it still is. It still is. What is the third rogue? I don't understand how... This was an easy question. Oh, here it is. Lord Magix, thank you for saving us. What the hell? What's wrong with all of you? That was a slam... It was supposed to be a joke more than a question. It's okay. I forgive all of you. Also, oh yeah, I forgot about Blood Moon and Twin too. Yeah, it was impossible for Tron back in the day. Just impossible. So, but the banning of Tron brought the rise of... Sorry, the banning of Splinter Twin brought the rise of Tron. But did he abandon it? It's always sad to see the Archetype Masters abandon their signature decks in favor of something with raw power. Maybe he did. Maybe he did. All right, we have the deck list. This is a really bizarre list. Who knows? Maybe I have a feeling this is not this is not the final version of this deck. So here's the deal. Look how few lands there is. The first thing I noticed, this deck has 14 lands. This is stupid. How the hell is this working? So Bishark's playing both Imara Mystic, you can see at the bottom right, and also Glasspool Mimic, which will both act like lands. But the gimmick to this deck, I think my brother would really like this deck, is it plays Ghostly Flicker, which is for a 2 blue generic, an instant speed card. I have to admit, this is instant speed, pretty interesting. Exile 2 target artifacts, creatures, and or lands you control, then return those cards to the battlefield under your control. Is it actually 22 lands? Did I miss one? I don't see the land. I don't... Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah, doing what? I saw everything, but my math was bad. So Ghostly Flicker, the idea is you put the Umara Wizard, in play as a land. You put the Glasspool Mimic in play as a land, and then you ghostly flicker the cards to get value out of them, like to like flip them from lands to creatures. And not to mention, you can also use this defensively against your own creatures anyway. And you also could, like, double the number of well, I can't say you can double. No, I think you can. Yeah, you can double the number of Master Waves tokens on the battlefield, because this is all in one sentence. So you blink the Master Waves, and you double the tokens. You can blink your Silver Gillidapp, draw another card. You can blink Harbinger, bounce creatures, whatever. Double city. Anyway, that's the idea. Now, I don't. I'm not a huge fan of the initial build out of this. I think it's. I understand the idea, but I think it's just too fancy. Like, I think it's just too fancy. Way too fancy. And it's pretty clunky as well. If you don't get this ghostly flicker, you're not going to be doing anything. So I think the initial build I think there's something here to this with the Glasspool Mimic and the Umara Wizard and being able to flicker stuff. But if I were to build this, I might not go as high as Master of Waves. I don't know. I mean, creature. If you're up against Jund, you'll destroy them. As far as I'm concerned, like this deck should just annihilate Jund in every single way. But let's say I'm trying to race another deck. I don't know if it will do it. Let's say, well, whatever. We'll see what comes of this. There's definitely something here. I really like this. I do like this idea of ghostly flicker. This is very, very unique, and will give. How can I put it? It's like a blue thing, in my opinion. No, it sort of looks like a white card, but it's blue and tricky, and that's what I really like about this card. And you can, like, save cards, and not to mention, if the opponent wipes your board, okay, who cares? Ghostly flicker, your Glasspool Mimic, and an Umara Wizard, and boom, you have 8 power in play, and you kill your opponent at end of turn. It's really cool. It's really cool. So anyway, good luck with Bishark with developing this list and see where it can go in the metagame. But like all the I wouldn't say all the interaction. I guess there's some force negations in the main. Somehow I can't let go of Dismember in the main. I can't do it. But anyway, keep an eye out for what Bishark's doing here. Really, really neat idea. This should be the deck that tries to Confounding Conundrum people. Well, I don't know. Oh, you can't copy the Mara? Okay, that's... Oh, I guess it's the same thing with Phantasmal Image. Phantasmal Image cannot copy creatures entering the battlefield. That's correct. Well, then that makes this interaction even more clunky. But in any case, yeah, that's correct. Because what ends up happening with clones is all the clones say when you have... No, hold on. You may have Glasspool Mimic enter the battlefield as a copy of a creature you control. Oh no, it's not. You may have as entering the battlefield, but not when it enters the battlefield. So what clones end up doing is, if a clone hits the battlefield, and there's... how it works is, if a clone clones are supposed to copy something as it enters the battlefield, not when it hits the battlefield. So when a clone hits the battlefield, what the game has to do, it has to back up to a point that it would clone something. So in this case, let's say Umara Wizard and Glasspool Mimic enter the battlefield at the same time. The game backs up to a point where Glasspool Mimic can copy something, but at that point, Umara Wizard isn't in play either. So in that case, Glasspool Mimic becomes nothing, and Umara Wizard just comes into play. Correct. Which also implies that Umara Wizard is also not in play. The sound is off again. You had well. Okay, hold on. Let's turn the gain down to nothing. How about this? This is good. Well, I nailed it. Like, I had to change it though when I moved to OBS. This is really annoying. This is super annoying to me. What the hell happened? Something happened internally in my audio settings. I screwed it up. I don't know what I did. The master volume. Everything looks good. Whatever. This is annoying. I really hate the idea of like me turning this dial up and down on my microphone every single day now. I got so punished. What ended up happening is I thought my sound was broken on my computer. And I started fiddling with all the everything, really, to figure out what was going wrong. Turns out the dial on my speaker was turned down to the quietest. I couldn't hear anything. And it just, whatever. So I ended up messing up all my sound settings for no reason. But welcome everyone to Coffee and MTG, the morning talk show where we talk all sorts of things magic. And yeah, Gain helped. Well, damn, I know. So as we get into today's show, I'm going to thank my sponsor, the manabase.com, the content site on Commander, Modern, Pioneer, Modern, and more. The Manabase is your home base for everything Magic the Gathering. And if I was a little bit more prepared, the Manabase is sponsored by Fusion Gaming Online, my favorite local game store. And just remember their deal of the week is save up to 15% off all Secret Lair singles box sets. It's Fusion Gaming Online. Remember, it's a Canadian site, Canadian prices. So when they pay you $650 cash for your guy's cradle, that is 650 Canadian dollars, not American. And also, I'd love to thank Mana Traders, the premier place to rent Magic cards online. And you can support the channel by using my Mana Traders link in the description below, or you can get 20% off your first 3 months by using my coupon code Nikachu. We're going to thank Mana Traders for being our sponsor. Punished for in real life punts. Oh, that's not a punt. That's a blunder. That was a huge blunder. I mean, this is all screwed up. Yeah, so that's like 20 American bucks. Sell your guys' cradles for 20 bucks. Basically, it's not that bad. It's bad. I'm not going to say it's good, but it's not that bad. What is the exchange rate? Hold on. One Canadian to USD. Oh, whew. And it's collapsing. What the fuck? Just like, look at it, just took a nosedive today. Oh, down 1 cent. Whatever. They make these graphs look so damn dramatic. Look, the starting point should be 0. So we went down 1 cent. Life gets harder for the Canadian dollar. That's all I can say. Life keeps getting harder. Will you take 1668 USD? Nikachu MTG, I wonder how Modern Goblins would do with Muxus become legal in the format. Probably nothing. I don't think Muxus would be that good in Modern at all. Maybe, I don't know. I don't have a whole lot of faith that Muxus would be anything in this format. The Modern is just too ridiculously powerful to stop. Like, you know, Modern is too powerful. I'll just put it that it's just way too powerful. That's right. It was a pony move. I went down the pony path of screwing around with my sound settings. Thoughts on modern monetary theory? Oh, I have none. I don't have any thoughts. I'm trying to learn myself, so I don't have any thoughts at the moment. It's not consensus, so as a non-economist, I'm not sure. How did the Snoop combo turn out in Modern? Oh, it turned out terrible. Prowess like rose up in prominence and like destroyed all of Goblins. Goblins is a dead deck at the moment. I have not seen Goblins in forever. And who the hell in their right mind would bring Goblins in a world of Walking Ballista and Lava Dart. I had the word Lava Spike in my mind, but I'm like, that is not the card. That is a burn. That's 3 damage to your face. That's not the card. Muxus easily puts like 20 power in play on turn 3. I think it could be a thing. Well, here's the deal. You need the Scourge Prospector out. No deck is going to let that thing live. There's just too much removal in Modern. In Historic, there isn't that much removal. The removal sucks. So I don't really see any deck letting Muxus letting Goblins have that creature density. I mean, maybe there's some way of like putting out other creatures out first, and then you put the Scourge Prospector at the end, and then they can't interact with it. But then it's still at the same way. Everyone knows that they have to be prepared for that anyway, so they still have to kill the goblins. So, yeah, and Plague Engineer. Look, I mean, we have all the answers. I don't think goblins is gonna be I don't think Muxus would bring goblins back to prominence. Oh hell no, Oh, it's Skirk Prospector is dead as fuck. Cactusovishmuk's still representing the goblins. How do you feel about the prowess matchup? Like what they say about deficits and taxes. Still have no. You know what? This stuff is so complicated. I don't know the rules to how how just a general economy works. So I don't have any strong opinions about this stuff yet. I'm slowly trying to learn it myself, but like it's a deep hole. Like it goes deep. Well, that's all I can say. Pretty good win rate. Play Chalice. Okay. Resolve the combo. So goblins can play the Chalice pretty well? I guess so, right? So maybe they still have... So Goblin still has game. Yeah, the Goblins is mostly like 2-mana spells and stuff like that. So is Jumpstart going to be modern legal, or is it... No, it's not modern legal. It's... the only thing that's modern legal is Modern Horizons. So when they make Modern Horizons, that comes out. Great question, though. It will be legal in Legacy. Hold on. Jumpstart was a paper printed set, right? So it should be like legal in Legacy, but the rules are only sets printed in Standard get added to Modern, and Modern Horizons. That's the rules so far. Yes, Chalice has been good, so good lately. Every time I played it against goblins, I don't draw my removal. I know, I feel your pain. How is Chalice doing? Just price-wise. Let's go to MTG Goldfish. Chalice of the Void. Let's pick an old one. Just curious where Chalice stands right now. Well, I had a little bit where online took a little bit of a dip, so right now might be an okay time to go grab Chalices at a smidge of a discount. And here's the low here. Well, I don't know about this low here. We can... Right now is looks like a pretty good time to own Chalice of the Void online in the grand scheme of things. Like you could have bought it up here, but now you can get it for like around 13, 14-ish bucks. So if you're in the long run going to be playing your tribal deck, this could be a good time to get the Chalice of the Void. What's it like on paper? Flat. Also still pretty good time. Interesting. Spike That War. Oh, yeah. Spike That War of the Spark, because that's when Karn the Great Creator came out, and then people are like, oh, Eldrazi has gone from like a pretty good deck to the deck. The deck to play. And then Hogak got banned, and then it went up even more. And now it's just been on a decline ever since. And it's probably not going to get back down here, but you know what? Oh, $43. Oh, ouch. That still hits. That still hurts. That still hurts. Go for it, Papa Burgundy. Go for it. But the future will come sooner or later. I want them in paper. Next year, we are going to be able to pick up spicy old bordered Chalice. Yes, I imagine the foil of that is going to look amazing. Can I look that up? What is that? What is the set? Is it Time Spiral Remastered? Time Spiral 2? Oh, here it is. Nice. Look at this card. This card is going to look unfucking believable in foil. That's all I can say. This card is going to look unreal in foil. Just unreal. I haven't been collecting foils for a little while, but if I was, I would be So all in on this thing. Also shows the parts of the cost of foiling out your deck are updating the foils when you find out there's like a better version of them, or when like yeah, basically that's also part of the cost of foils. Oh, you spent like $400 on foil Chalice of the Void. Well, get ready to spend another 400 or more on the version with the classic border on it. Old artifacts look so good. I would say the old foils in general look way better than the new foils. The old blue border, I love it in foil. Old artifact in foil, I love it. Old, even old black, I love it. What else? Yeah, iconic vial and iconic vial invention and Grand Prix Mutavault championships for me. There you go. You all know. I still have to pick up Seb chalices. Is that Seb Mackinac you're meaning? Oh yeah, with how Wizards of the Coast done foils these last few years, going to be insane. Hopefully, they're foiling it out the same way the old foils were designed. Because the old foils were still pretty good. Invasion Absorb in particular are pretty good too. Oh yeah, the old gold. Gold looked amazing in the old foil. The Seb Chalice. All right, let's go check out Seb Chalice. Look, this is the default here now. I should just went here. Oh, this is the promo. Judge Gifts. The one with the skull. And the chalice and the sword. Used to be only on Magic the Gathering Online. Oh, was it? This was released online first and then on paper later? I'm still waiting for the PTQ promo Ether Vial. Yeah, because of the pandemic, this promo Ether Vial is stuck in limbo. Like this doesn't exist yet. Just in like, I don't know, we can see like a preview of it here, but basically it doesn't exist. And it's also very nice Ether Vial. Rudy says old foils curl, but there's a new process. Old foils curl, but also new foils curl, so they all curl. You lose no matter what. But I will say something about the old foils. They don't curl as easily as the new foils. Like the new foils, not only are the foiling usually dull, but also they curl way easier. Vilest. Yeah, violet vilest vial. I like OG vial art. You're one of those people, huh? I don't understand you people. Fucking Statue of Liberty here. Statue of Liberty Ether Vial. You can barely even see the vial. Like, what is this thing? What is going on here? It totally reminds me of, I don't know, something from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or something. Yeah, new foils come curled right out of the pack, exactly. The ooze, yeah, the ooze. This person's about to mutate. This is like to me when I see this is a crossover from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Magneto, and the Statue of Liberty. Ugh, I didn't want this. Doesn't really look like him, in my opinion. Why is there no decent picture of Magneto? Sure, whatever. And Ooze. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. There we go. This is what I'm talking about. So this, when I see, this is not what I wanted to see. Here's the ether vial. So when I see this ether vial, what's in her hand looks like this. Well, I don't know this is a Red Bull meme. Not what I meant. But also looks like this. Do you see this? Look, the same helmet. Same helmet. Yeah, the statue is holding a vial. And here's and this is the person holding it. It's just basically Statue of Liberty with the Magneto helmet on, more or less. Don't associate me with old vial lovers. I like the older. I like the other old one. No Merfolk though, I know. Even though even our deck has been so associated with Ether Vial for such a long time. So I'm like, so then there's the other old one, which I also don't like very much. I don't know. None of these Ether Vials really did it for me for the most part. I don't know who Doctor Doom is, to be honest. Is Doctor Doom this one? I don't think so. I don't know where this conversation has gone down, but it's all good. It's to protect herself against Professor X's mind control. Yes, the Statue of Liberty has to protect themselves from Professor X. For any of the X-Men people out there. I'm not a huge X-Men fan, but I've watched a few. I watched enough movies that I know who the characters are and what their powers are. I personally don't like the vials you play. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people don't like these vials. But what I don't understand is, do people not like this vial because it's $1 million? Like, it's like $118. Or is it because they just literally don't like the picture? I think the picture is beautiful. I love this picture. It's so detailed, and it's so colorful and bright. I think that's one thing that drew me to this Ether Vial over the other ones. The other ones are dark. They're just dark. Like, look at this thing. I can like this one. I can like this one. I like the colors in it. I like that it has a lot of color. They're so damn dark though. I like the invention and the border. I love the border on this thing. I like everything about this. And when you have it in hand, in person, it's amazing. I'd rather buy these than foil Force of Negation. Those are expensive and less wow bling factor. You know, I can agree with that as well. I am a little reserved on, even if I could afford it, I don't know how much I would really want to buy Force of Negation. I don't know what this looks like foil, but in my opinion, I could see a better art of this coming out one day, and I would be more prepared for that one when it comes out. I'd certainly swap the Force Negations that I already have. Is it hot and foil? I imagine this does look. I imagine they really let the all the lightning bolts and stuff really pop in foil. I'm sure this actually is an amazing foil in person. I play the vials you play, but they stand out so much compared to the rest of the deck. That's fine with me. Stare at my ether vials. Where's my ether vial? Where's my ether vial? My beauties. My beauties. Yes, they stand out. Behold, my brick of gold. That's how I look at it. The Force Negation foil is amazing. One of the best foils in the deck. That actually says a lot right there. Do you still use them in paper? I do not. I've gone non-foil since Modern Horizons because I came to the what ended up happening is I realized, oh, Simic Merfolk could be a real thing. Oh, Blue-Red Merfolk could be a real thing. Oh, do I want to buy all the green and red cards that exist in Modern? And then from there, and because I realized I'm playing more online and less in paper, that like there's no point in foiling out my deck anymore until I can be certain that Merfolk's going to go down one category. But now it's quite clear that Merfolk can go anywhere. And like, do I want to foil out all? Do I need to get all the foil Waterlog Groves and then all the foil green like sideboard cards that could possibly happen? Papa Burgundy cheered with 100 bits. Thank you very much, Papa. Thanks, Papa. Also, I got to give a thanks to Boone Pints, who subscribed with Prime 4 hours ago. Thank you very much, Boone Pints. Yeah. Not really. Was close to picking them up. Someone gifted me a set of foil lords for a Reddit secret Santa, so I was kind of forced to foil. But foil is odd. I will say, I've said it a million times before. I'm going to say it again. Playing in foil is very fun. I don't know what to say. I don't know what else to say about it. It is very fun to play in foil, and getting those reactions from people, like they get the sense that you're serious business when your whole deck is foil. You dedicated yourself to that deck. And also Merfolk blue looks really good in foil. So if you foil out Merfolk, it's awesome. It is super awesome. And for the record, I'll probably make a video about this hopefully soon, but I'm not selling any of my foil Japanese Merfolk cards. I'm going to the grave with them. That's just how it is. Okay, so I guess now is time for deck list review. So if you have any deck list that you want review, don't forget to go ! Deck review space, give the URL to the deck list, and leave any comments, whether it's what format is it? Is it budget? Help me out. What have you played with the deck before, or is this complete theory, or is it a type of deck that or have you already put in the reps and you know exactly what you're weak to? Helps me and the community figure out what exactly we need to do to help you. And as people submit deck lists, if there are any deck lists, we actually ran to the bottom of the barrel yesterday. That never happened before. Maybe we don't have our usual deck list submission crowd around. But if not, it's all good. We can just keep up the conversation. You ever tired of playing fish? What about the fish is so fun? The thing that is fun about Merfolk is that the play patterns are so different pending the matchup I'm up against. And because Merfolk isn't a super powerful deck, I win through many small little advantages that I can pick up over the course of the game. So I find the deck very stimulating, and I find it very challenging. And as time has gone by, over and over and over again, I've proven that Merfolk is competitive in almost any state of the modern metagame and is flexible enough to win. So that is what I really like so much about Merfolk. So it's about eking out those little advantages over time. And the fact that it's still adaptable, it still has enough tools to... There's always some plan, some strategy to attack the metagame. Well said. I pretty much always want to play Merfolk in a 60 in 60 cards. You mean like the exact same 60 cards? And that's the problem. If you want to play the exact 75 over and over again, it won't work. Generally speaking, it won't work. You do have to change it up here and there. Like, I would say my biggest change was going Simic, and I guess I've been playing Simic for almost a year now. Outside of that, I have made changes to the main deck. Like I split the spreading seas, or I had 2 spreading seas in my 75. Now I had 4, and I put 2 in the sideboard. Now I put 2 in the main. Then I took out all the force negations and put them in the sideboard. Put 4 dismembers in the main. Sometimes I play with Brazen Borrower, sometimes I don't. But so for the most part, the games don't play out the same way as, say, a burn player might. Like I imagine a burn player can get bored with their deck, and the same might be said with prowess. Because the same play patterns happen. All right, turn 1 Goblin Guide, turn 2 Eidolon, burn, 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 I win. And over enough time, and then there's going to be games where they're like completely helpless. I mean, Merfolk has the same stuff. Like when we get slammed by an ensnaring bridge and we can't find an answer. But the point is the games are always changing, and because Modern keeps changing, my strategies have to change. And when my strategy changes, like the game's constantly changing for me. So it's very interesting for me. Good morning, Spider Space. Congrats on all your 5-0s. Made 2 back-to-back 5-0s with Death and Taxes. If you want to learn about Death and Taxes, you go check out Spider Space. Oh, I just meant in Modern, Legacy versus EDH. It's the perfect deck for me. It hits all the notes that I want in a deck. I'm all about tribal, and it's flexible and has a high skill curve, and it's also not too popular, which I like. You're a rebel if you play fish. Oh, you are a super rebel. Sometimes you think they look at you like you're nuts. Remember when, oh, I can't remember his name. When someone was the name is blanking on me. Someone went super deep in a GP during the Hogak metagame, was playing for top 8, and Saffron Olive was like, you got to be really brave to be playing Silver Gill Adept in this meta. But it was like, it was totally playable at the time. It was totally playable. I do have some questions for you. What's your go-to tech for the Amulet matchup? The go-to, like, okay, so like I'll just go over all the tools that I have available. But I do use. Okay, so first off, my tech. I'll tell you my plan right now for Amulet. So I'm really high on Dismember right now, 4 of them, strictly for Dryad of the Elysian Grove. I let every other creature live. It doesn't matter. I have to kill Dryad of the Elysian Grove. Second one, I do like using a lot of Chalice of the Voids, because Chalice on 0 sometimes can win the game by itself. There's going to be a decent chunk of hands where they have they don't have Primeval Titan. If I have Chalice on 0, I will force them to have Primeval Titan in their hand, because otherwise they're going to have to spend their Teleria Wests to go find engineered explosives to set it on 0 to blow it up, to blow up my Chalice of the Void. And then also we use Force of Negation to either deal with engineered explosives or Summoner's Pact. If they have Titan in their hand, we're usually not in good shape. That's just as it is. I have had some success with like Damping Sphere, but it's not the greatest. Like sometimes it's good, sometimes it doesn't matter. They can just like put a bunch of lands onto the battlefield anyway. But this is my I don't know about tech, because there isn't really any good tech, but I now take a really high control route against Amulet, because the games that I win are the ones where Amulet does nothing. They just don't do anything, because shuts off. Well, yeah, Chalice on 0 shuts off. That's the point. It shuts off the Pact to find the Titan, and also shuts off the Teleria West into the Pact that would find the Titan. But that is currently my plan, because I've learned after playing against Amulet a million times, I have never raced them, ever. That has never happened. And the games I win are the ones where they're just doing nothing. They've got a few cards stuck in hand, because I'm sure it was as the result of a Chalice on 0. But there were always games. I'm super high on Dismember, because I need some answer, and maybe in your case it's going to be Path to Exile. I need some answer for Dryad of the Elysian Grove, because I can still lose the game to, even if they don't have a Titan out, they can play Dryad of the Elysian Grove, when Valakut, and then start playing like Karoo lands and bouncing and shooting all my stuff down. So when I'm playing that slow control game, I can still lose to Dryad of the Elysian Grove. But that's the go-to for myself in that matchup. Oh, Ashiok is the best card out of blue. That's true. So that one also works very well if I'm running it. That's a very good card. Yeah, Ashiok, Damping Sphere, Chalice of the Void, I guess. Yeah, absolutely kill the Dryad. All right, let's go check out some deck lists. Okay, sounds like me. I'm trying to find a slam dunk card, and I think to dunk on them, I'd have to splash red for Magus of the Moon. I don't know that I want to. That would do it. If you have access to Blood Moon, that would help. I guess the easiest card for you would just be Chalice on 0, because you do have access to that. That would be it. And you gotta be fast. I don't know if you gotta be fast, like, but I have a lot more controlling cards. But you also have access to this. Well, you don't need Dismember. You can play Path to Exile. That should be fine. But it's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. That's how I roll at the moment. Okay, Disgruntled Elks Decklist has been chosen. I played the deck through multiple leagues and a few different iterations, but it is promising so far. Deck has felt powerful. Thoughts on anything I'm missing? Skyclave Shadow. This should be fun. Oh, too many tabs open. Gotta get rid of my tabs. Get rid of my tabs. Allura stack. Okay, so this is like the new hot deck on the block. I mean, I just played this yesterday. 3 Lava Dart, 4 Lightning Bolt, 2 Mutagenic Growth, 4 Thoughtseize, Apostle's Blessing, 3 Tumor Battle Rage. I got a Gadim's Awakening, 2 Dismember, 4 Mishra's Bauble. So you've got 16 creatures. I don't know if you need Apostle's Blessing in that case. Because if you have so many creatures, I think the best thing to do when they kill a creature is just play another one. And you have Lurrus anyway. So I don't see the huge upside to playing with Apostle's Blessing, except that you can like lose some life for free. I could be wrong, but it just seems awkward in this sort of deck. If you had 12 creatures, for example, I could see more reason to try to protect the creatures that you have. So you can keep playing this card because it still makes you lose life for Scourge of the Skyclaves and your Death Shadow. But I find it should be a little bit more proactive. Like, I think even in your spot, you might want 2 more Dismembers over the Apostle's Blessing, or 1 more Temur Battle Rage. I don't know how important this card is to the deck, but maybe. Or even 2 more Mutagenic Growths. Like, there's going to be a lot of there's a lot of removal that you'll negate with a Mutagenic Growth, you know what I mean? So if they Lightning Bolt a Soulscar Mage, okay, Mutagenic Growth. So you can use it proactively and defensively. It could be another Temur Battle Rage, because there's always the problem classically with Death Shadow, and the reason that why they always need to run red is basically for Temur Battle Rage, because they can just get beaten by chump blockers. Apostle's Blessing sort of deals with that, but like Temur Battle Rage is just better at that, in my opinion. Man, I don't want to see Shadow with Temur Battle Rage again. If Apostle's Blessing is your card to push through blockers, then you should just have the 4th Temur Battle Rage. This is just better because not only it's like Apostle's Blessing plus Mutagenic Growth in 1, because it will double the damage, and also it will because if you're going to use it pre-combat, first off, you don't know. You give your opponent information. If you play Apostle's Blessing pre-combat or pre-blocks or whatever, you give your opponent information, and then in response they can kill your creature. You can give your opponent information about like what color of creature to flash in. What else? You don't deal extra damage. If that was the plan, you just should play with a 4th Temur Battle Rage. This is what I would do. And then this last Apostle Blushing should be something else. You're gonna ask for some 2-for-1. Like, if you're using it defensively, I understand, but if you're trying to use it proactively, I don't know if I like it so much. Whereas with Temur Battle Rage, you can attack with everything. You attack with all your creatures, and then pending how they block, you Temur Battle Rage the one that will give the most damage to your opponent, pending how they block. Because your opponent can make better blocks after you've Apostle's Blessing your creature. Yes, as I'm reading this. For a player that loves value-oriented decks but has been a bit distant from modern, what decks would you recommend? Loves value? Soul Herder. Look up Soul Herder. I would if you want value, Soul Herder is the deck. That is value city. That is like all value. If you want millions of cards on the battlefield and lands and draw a million cards, look up Soul Herder. Go look up Merfolk Joe, who's championing Soul Herder. Mishra's Bauble, Arid Mesa, Swamp. Yeah, this is fine. Fatal Push. Abrade. Cleansing Wildfire. Nice. Feed the Swarm. I'm just curious what to... I mean, this is a good card. And it's probably even better. Is Soul Herder competitive? It won a Modern Challenge just like not too long ago. I think it's a bit of a tricky deck to play, but if you can learn it, it's a good deck. It will be a very, very good deck. Colgan's Command. So Kiln Fiend in the sideboard? Okay, Disgruntled Elk. What's the Kiln Fiends for? That you need like more creatures. Because I would imagine, when I see 3 Cleansing Wildfire, I think, I know what decks you want to bring this in against, and you probably want 4 of them, not 3 of them. But I think, you're tight on sideboard slots, so you don't want, so maybe you had to go down to 3 Cleansing Wildfire. Same thing with Abrade. You might want a second one instead of 1. Or you do have other artifact destruction, so it's not too bad. So what's with the 2 Kiln Fiend here? What do I think of Humans in Modern? It's incredibly good right now. Very well positioned. Had an incredible weekend, or last few weekends. Kiln Fiend is for Tron, big mana, but they certainly have been the worst cards in the 75. Yeah, so change them up for another Abrade, maybe, or and another Cleansing Fire, and that will help you against Tron. They play Expedition Map, you Abrade it on turn 2, and now, oops, can't get that 3rd Tron land. Sorry about that. And also Cleansing Wildfire will make it harder. I mean, I think you will help the Tron matchup by adding to these 2 cards while just being better off against a lot of other decks. Kiln Fiend is just a bizarre choice to have in the sideboard. And aside from that, that's about it. I would remove the Apostle's Blessing, add up another Teamer Battle Rage, and something else, maybe another Dismember, and the rest of this list looks great. And good luck with it. Oops, where am I? I'm lost. All right, so let's go check out another list. Deck review. And good luck with that Disgruntled Elk. 1-1 Nick submits a deck, and I immediately pick it. And he made the bot, by the way. This could be a rigged entry. Who knows what Nick is doing in behind the scenes. Modern Mono Blue Delver, mostly budget, but open to semi-budget suggestions. Mono Blue Delver. Okay. Budget Mono Blue Delver. What format are we? We're in Modern, right? Yeah, format is Modern, and you want it to be budget. So we have Delver of Secrets, Baral, Chief of Compliance, Thing in the Ice, Brazen Borrower, Ops, Serum Vision, Spell. What the hell is Baral doing in this deck? Why? Why do we have Baral in this deck? Island, Mystic Sanctuary, 4 Relic, 4 Spreading Seas. Oh man, God, I love the sideboard. Return to their owner's hands all creatures with toughness less than or equal to the number of islands you control. Counterspell value, I guess, but you know what? I can't recommend 4 Sanctuary in this deck, only because you probably need at least 18 islands to guarantee you're gonna do something on turn 1, and you in a Delver deck, you definitely do not want to be playing. How do I put it? I don't even think this deck is even going to get up to 4 lands very often anyway. The problem with Soul Herder is Violent Force. What do you mean the problem? Yeah, Terramander might be a really good replacement here. Maybe. It might be a really good replacement. I think this card is bizarre to me. Okay, how do... It looks bad, but maybe it's fine. The problem is there's no payoff to it. I mean, you're not making any of your spells cheaper. Almost none. Except Remand. Remand gets cheaper, that's it. You get to loot. Well, but here's the downside. If you replace it with Terramander, Terramander will die to like lava darts and stuff like that. And I would love, well, I mean, you do have Thing in the Ice, which is a more resilient threat, a significantly more resilient threat. What is best in the removal heavy? Is there like a good, I don't know, some good value one drop or something? Yeah, it's not a dare. It is good late in the late game because it'll become a gigantic creature. The Terramander. It could become a 5/5 creature in the late game. And like this adaptability is very easy to pull off. So I guess that's fine. Op, Serum Vision, Spell Snare, Vapor Snag, Deprive, Disrupting Shoal, Remand. You might want some Dismembers in the main, because you have a Painless mana base. Because Vapor Snag, honestly, is just not really well positioned. Or how, hold on, I think you said you want, I don't know if Dismember is super budget. How much is Dismember right now? It's the only problem. Dismember is expensive. Let's look at this one. So online, it's like $6. Paper, it's actually cheaper. Okay, Dismember offline. Dismember offline. Oops. Spectral Sailor unfortunately doesn't hit for a lot of damage. But it is the value creature that I was like thinking about. I'm trying to think what is wrong with like mono blue Delver that it's not really breaking through. Because people have tried stuff like this before. Like the deck looks fine. It looks clean. I like the look of the deck list. Is it too many counter spells and needs more like onboard interaction? But then again, this is a budget deck, so who cares? Stormtamer / Judge is familiar. They're interesting to consider. Oh, the price of Violent Force. Oh, are you talking about Merfolk? Oh, the problem with Soul Hoarder. Do they play, what, are you saying Ether Vial? They don't play Ether Vial, do they? Or is it a different Vial that I don't know about? They might play Force Negation. I haven't really looked at the lists. They play now. You have to show me the list, because I didn't know they play Ether Vial. I don't think they play Ether Vial. The list that I've seen do not play Ether Vial. Okay, hold on. I will finish this up, and then we'll quickly look at a Soul Herder list. So, okay, I love the sideboard. 4 Relic of Progenitus, 4 Spreading Seas, 4 Mystical Dispute. Okay, actually, I don't love this card. I actually hate this card. This card should go. Engulf the Shore. Return to their owner's hand. Like, you're never going to get to 4 mana at 20 lands. The mana base is too small. In fact, 20 is fine with all the cantrips, but Engulf the Shore has to change to something else. So, like, what's a really cheap sideboard card that you could use that isn't going to hurt you? Relic, Spreading Seas, Mystical Dispute, Engulf the Shore. Ether Gust. Is that expensive? Yeah, it's already in the main. There, online, 21 cents. Perfect. Ether Gust would be a perfect sideboard card here. In fact, you might even want a 4th one. And, well, I don't know. You could fight it over. You want 3 or 4 versus 3 to 4 Mystical Disputes. So definitely put Ether Gust in here. What to do for the main? Well, I guess, okay, by default, you just should replace this with Terramander and then hope for the best. But I would ideally like something that can survive Lava Dart a little bit better, because that is such a popular card right now. It's what makes Delver of Secrets like sort of a liability. You go turn 1 Delver and then go Lavadar. I don't know. Dismember for sideboard. If you can afford, if this sort of deck could afford Dismember, I would have it in the main deck. I'd have it over Vapor Snag. Because it's just a better card. Just a better card. For the most part. I just realized this deck has no way of dealing with a Chalice on 1. If someone plays Chalice on 1 on you, you're dead. But I guess that's, well, I mean, you have Disrupting Shoal. You have some ways. It's funny, Disrupting Shoal is not too expensive. It's pretty cheap. And it's still a decent card. Like, it's not a it's not a crap card. Crackling Drake, but isn't that 2 colors? Yeah, this is a 2-color. And it's also, I don't know, this doesn't look like a Delver card for the most part. I think that's about it. Main is, we're just going to have to replace this thing with Terramander because this is not a very aggressive card. You do need to like get your aggro on with you do have to get your aggro on with Delver. I mean, that's the point of Delver of Secrets. Flip it and then start bouncing your opponent's stuff every single turn. You can have 1 or 2 Echoing Truths in the main deck. You can have 1 or 2 Echoing Truths in the main deck. Maybe over some Vapor Snags. And I think the mana base is fine. I wouldn't go up. I wouldn't have more than 2 Mystic Sanctuaries, just because if you have, say, 4 of them in your deck, let's say you have 4 Mystic Sanctuaries in your deck, and you still have 20 lands, I guarantee you're going to have these hands with like 1 Mystic Sanctuary or 2 Mystic Sanctuary and no other islands. And your first turn is going to be like put Mystic Sanctuary into play tapped, and you're sort of screwed for a whole turn. You're doing nothing. Historically, yes. But this is mono blue Delver. Mono blue. The power of blue. Anyway, thank you very much for submitting the deck list, Nick. I hope that helps. I don't know where you're going to play this, but, good luck with it. I've seen these sort of lists pop up here and there, but, like, no one's made it, like, break through because the cost of just going to 1 more color, like Lord Magica said, is usually not too high. And it's also very useful. Okay, so let's quickly look at a Soul Herder list. I'll review more deck lists, but... Okay, hold on. How do I find it on... Is it going to show up in the metagame pile? For Modern? Might not. Mirror. Okay, this one won the Modern. This one won the Modern Challenge with 4 Ether Vial. Interesting. I didn't know. I've played against Soul Herder a million times. I did not once ever see them play Ether Vial. What the hell? What the hell? Is this every Soul Herder deck? Or was that only that one? Oh, Ether Vial is a card. Have I just never once seen an Ether Vial in Soul Herder? Every single time I play against it, I have never saw Ether Vial. It's like I dodged Ether Vial a million times. I always see Noble Hierarch into well, I always see Noble Hierarch, let me just say that. Do any of these versions even play Noble Hierarch? 2 Noble Hierarchs? So I've never seen Ether Vial, but I see Noble Hierarch every single time, and they only run 2 of them. Nassif started playing them. Oh, that's a really good point. Well, Opt doesn't help you flip Delver, but Opt is just like a random cantrip. If it's on top of your library, it will flip Delver. It's not the most ideal card, but I don't see Op being too bad either. So, yeah, these decks now play with Uro and Noble Hierarch. They ramp up a lot. Okay, so what kind of value deck can I offer? Like, this is the value deck, by the way. This is like the value of all value decks. GeForce. This is the value that you are not going to get a more value-oriented deck than this. But outside of that, it would be like the next best value deck would be something like Bant Control. Yeah, this is value.deck. I've never seen a deck like draw more cards, get more shit on the board, do everything than this deck. What's your budget, GeForce? What is your budget? Like, I'm not going to recommend decks that are like outrageously expensive. No cards above 20? That doesn't help GeForce. Like, what's the total cost of the deck can you buy? Like, some decks have like only like 4 expensive cards, but the rest is like nothing. $500? All right. That helps. All right, $500. What can we find for $500? I don't know if we're going to find a value-oriented deck for $500. Would you be interested in playing okay, hold on, let's see. Let me just look at all the options very quickly ad nauseum. Trying to find a value. Someone likes value. This was close, but this also has the vials in it. You probably could get the cards for Herder and buy all the vials later. Now, alternatively, I don't know if you would consider, like, this is another value-oriented archetype, but this is like way over your budget because all those cards, there's so much value, everyone knows their value and they love it. Blitz, I don't know if you would consider this value, but this is like, it's a really strong deck and it's cheap. Like, I don't know how to put it, but like this deck keeps the gas coming until your opponent's dead. I don't even know what beats this deck. I think most of the green-white company decks are just combo based these days. So this is within your budget and it's like just super aggro. And you do like, there is like value and there's quite a bit of card advantage in this deck between Firebolt, Lava Dart, Manamorphose, Light Up the Stage. And this is only one version. There's other versions with that stupid flying thing, which usually kills me. And there's Sunbay Canyon. Like, this is the type of deck that it will have, like, your opponent will have a lot of trouble getting through all your value. Or, like, getting through all your card advantage. But I don't know if this is the type of deck you want. If you wanted, like, value, that Soul Herder deck was up your alley. Completely up your alley. Other than that, I don't know like any I don't know any other super value oriented deck that exists. Maybe Green White Titan. Oh, how about that Titan deck? Hold on, is this it? How much is this deck? That's also a value oriented deck. Hold on. No, this is not it. Is this just tax decks? Where's the Titan Vial deck? Where's the Titan Vial list? Is it this one? This is it. Okay, so this is another value-oriented list, but this breaks your budget. So this is paper, like $600. Online, it's cheaper. But I think this would also be in your wheelhouse of value. So what you do is you play things like Elvish Reclaimer, which can make you sacrifice a land and search for a land in your library. But what you end up doing is you always sacrifice flagstones of Trocaire, and when Trocaire goes to the graveyard from the battlefield, you can search your library for a Plains card, put onto the battlefield tap. So what you do is you sacrifice Trocaire, and you can tutor for, you tutor for other lands. You're going to replace it, and you get another land in addition to it. But it's a tutor for like whatever the hell you need. So you can eventually find things like Valakut, Field of the Dead, Crumbling Vestige, if that's important. What else? Blast Zone. And that combos really well with Ride of the Elysian Grove, because if you find Valakut, now you can start like finding, you can start triggering Valakut triggers for every single random land that you put onto the battlefield. And not to mention, this thing becomes a random 3/4 creature as you fill up the graveyard. And you have Wall of Blossoms to draw a card. You have Eternal Witness, Primeval Titan looks for more lands. So this is also like a pretty value-oriented deck that might be up your alley. So I think those are the two best types of decks that you might, if you're looking for value, this would be it. Athen back. Good morning, Nikachu. I'm late to the party, but I'm still stuck at work. That's all good. Just keep us in the background. It's all good. Wait, so define value. I thought it was just a deck where all the cards are individually good, like Jund. I always told it's a pile of value cards. No, Jund is a good stuff deck. It is full of good cards. So individually powerful cards are just good cards. Value, well, I mean, maybe I don't even know the definition of value, but when I think value, I mean like card advantage. So you get, for every one thing you put in, you get two out of it. So they play one card, they get two cards. So in Soul Herder, you have the ability to like, you put a creature on the battlefield and has an ETB effect of drawing a card or putting a land on the battlefield. Then you can blink the thing every single turn, and every single other turn you get more stuff. Uro is value. You gain more life. You get more land drops. You get more cards. Yeah, Jund is about attrition. It's about taking stuff away, not necessarily getting more stuff. So I look at value as getting more stuff. And mostly in the form of card advantage or like permanence that you have on the battlefield. That's the way I look at value. So I hope that helped you. It's an unusual question to answer, but we found out some value-oriented decks for the people who love value. Okay, deck review, pick. Value is generally stuff like Eternal Witness, Tireless Tracker. Yeah, again, card advantage. Eternal Witness enters the battlefield to get a card from the graveyard, so you didn't lose on cards. Tireless Tracker. For every land that enters the battlefield, you get a token that you can sacrifice to claim more cards. It's all value stuff. Shadow Walker's decklist has been chosen. First attempt of changing deck. The deck tries not to get multiples of the same card, so mostly 3 of looking to see if I can overlook a good wizard mostly. Yeah, no 4-ofs. A raid party? Is that different from a Bitcoin party? Oops. It's 4 historic. Okay, so let's look at these cards. Hold on, I can't remember. So you're trying to... What's the objective here? This deck tries not to get multiples of the same card, so mostly 3 of looking to see if I'm overlooked a good wizard mostly. But why not? Hold on. So this deck has raid. Archpriest of Iona. X2. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you have a full party, target creature gets +1/+1 and gains flying until end of turn. So you need a full party for this. And its power is equal to the number of creatures in your party. So you at least have 1 because of the cleric. And then we have Malakir Blood Priest, ETB. Each opponent loses life, and you gain X life, where X is the number of creatures in your party. But why is it necessary you only have like 3 ofs? does that really help your chances of making party? Robber of the Rich is a rogue. Seasons Hollow Blade. Gains indestructible until end of turn. Pyromancer. On-Crop Crasher. Bladeborn Rogue. Gets +3/+0 as long as an opponent has 8 or more cards in their graveyard. I don't know how much I like that. Cards like that. This card's great. Snapdax Apex of Hunt. Double strike. Whenever this creature mutates, it deals 4 damage to target creature or planeswalker an opponent controls, and you gain 4 life. I'm trying to not have at least 3 different creature types. Huh? Important. I'm hoarding rare wild cards to get... Oh, okay. So it's like a budget deck, basically, is what you're trying to tell me. Basically, this is a budget deck. That helps. It's funny, we budget on wild cards. Zagras, Thief of Heartbeats. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each creature in your party. The problem is some of the... I don't know how much I love this one. I think you have enough rogues. Maybe not. Maybe you don't have enough rogues. And you need to be in the... I understand you do need to be in the colors of Mardu here. And what you said you have no wizards. Well, so you have 4 wizards of this, because it might be the only one you know. One more time. Yeah, you're trying to get 3 different creature types. I know you want to get your party. What do you think, Chief? You've been playing a lot of Historic. How do we get a full party here? Spikefield Hazard, Shatterskull, Smashing, Emiria's Call, Ambercleave, Outlaws. Well, this card is very strong by itself. This is a very strong card. You might want to have more of these as a win condition, just period. Winota is banned. Winota's banned. It was Yard Tracker, the thing that pulled... StreamYard here. StreamYard. Oops. Yeah, I know Party was never meant to be constructed, but that's where we are right now. You still... Winota still is not legal. It's not going to be more legal the more we talk about it. So the one question is, what wizards are we missing? So let's take it if there are any wizards to do this better. I'm at home, so I can actually set this up now. Sure. Okay, so let's look up text. Okay, we need it to be a creature and is wizard. And it needs to be within Mardu colors. Let's say CMC is less than 4 or less than 5. Legal in Historic. All right, search with these options. Let's see what we have available. We have 38 cards. Okay, here's our options, because I think you're low on wizards, period. Well, Soul Scar Mage could be an option. Okay, so we have... This looks like junk. This looks like... Even Mind Sensor is a possibility. 2/1 Flash Flying. If an opponent would search their library, they only search the top 4 cards instead. Don't know exactly how many decks actually get beaten by Aven Mind Sensor in Historic, but it's a possibility. These are junk. These are not useful. Dranith Magistrate's not useful. Draenor Darkness would be good, but not in this party version. These are not good. Maybe Grim Lavamancer? Magmatic Channeler? Where's Magmatic Channeler? Did I go across that? Hold on. Okay, Magmatic Channeler. As long as there are 4 or more instant and or sorcery cards in your graveyard, it gets +3/+1. Discard a card, exile up to 2 cards from your library, then choose one of them. You may play that card this turn. Okay, it's like card advantage, right? It's some card advantage. Grim looks fine, yeah. Unfortunately, yeah, there's not many spells in the deck, so this Magmatic Channeler is not actually going to get that big. But still card advantage. That's the same problem with Soulscar Mage. Not that many actual creatures, or sorry, not that many non-creature spells in the deck for prowess. Oh, Sunscorch Champion is not a bad card. ETB, gain a bunch of life, and you can eternalize this card. And you got the Viashino Pyromancer. So if there's any, I would say Sunscorch Champion is your best bet. Next best might be this Magmatic Channeler. There's a Grim thing? Wait, Grim what? Oh, Grim Lava. Oh yeah, Grim Lavamancer is not that bad. But the problem is you need your stuff to die. You know, you need your opponents you need your opponent to help kill your creatures. I think that's the best we can do. Oh, what is this? Target creature with power 2 or less can't be blocked this turn. That's pretty crappy. Haste. Yeah, that's also crappy. So I think that's the best we can do for here. It's it's really tough to make the party thing work. Only because, you know, it's so easy to dismantle. Your opponent just shoots things and boom, they're all done. They're gone. Snapdax is a test. I might cut it if it doesn't help. So I think if there's anything, Hemidex in the queue. Mine's a spicy, and I'm curious on your thoughts. I'll try. Okay, I'll quickly look at one more list. If I pick you, it's not a queue like you're in line. You're randomly chosen. So you just need to submit. Anyway, good luck with the party, Shadow Walker. Good luck with the party. Oops. Deck review pick. Okay, you got your list chosen. The OG mirror. Dredge Landless Belcher. Let's go check out your list. This is Landless Dredge Belcher? Okay, so you have Prized Amalgam, Silver Smoke Ghoul, Simian Spirit Guide, Undercity Informer. It's a bizarre card to have in here. So you have both cards that can mill yourself. I think that's the you want to mill. Are you trying to mill yourself to death, and then somehow Silver Smoke Ghoul kills people? What format is this? This is modern. Desperate Ritual, Metamorphose, Memory's Journey. Target player shuffles up to 3 target cards from their graveyard to their library. So you can mill yourself and then play this card with Rituals and Metamorphose. These are just lands. Target opponent reveals their hand. You choose a card from it. Convert mana cost 3 or greater. Player discards a card. Whatever. Creeping Chill. Actually, this is interesting. So, like, what? You can mill yourself to nothing just with this. And your opponent will get domed for, like, 12, right? And you gain 12 life. I think that's the idea. Well, I don't know about the Nexus of Fate. You never mill yourself out because of Nexus. So what if Nexus always hits the battle? So then what's the point of like the shuffling your library into your graveyard or your graveyard into your library? Your plan is to spy, Informer, mill the deck, chill them for 12, get Silver Smoke that triggers Amalgam, and you put World Spine on top. World Spine or Nexus of Fate? You know, like something. And I guess you have a backup plan. Well, what's the point of that Memory's Journey? Target player shuffles up to 3 target cards from their graveyard to their into his or her library. Yeah, I understand. You trigger the dredge cards. There's no actual dredging here. There is not a single dredge card in this deck. Phantasmagorian. Nexus Fate would be put in the graveyard from anywhere. Reveal it and shuffle it into their owner's library instead. Does this deck need Pentad Prism? Until end of turn, creatures you control gain trample, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Despair. Aftermath. Until end of turn, creatures you control gain menace, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, that player discards a card. So, like, first off, why not go all in on all this stuff? Like, why isn't there a fourth Silver Smote Ghoul so that you, like, maximize, or is that just win more? I imagine it's not entirely win more. I don't know how quickly you can pull this combo off. These sort of decks can be more explosive than Dredge sometimes. That's funny. Then Belcher combos and that's smart. That's very, very smart. You've got the Goblin Char Belcher combo in the sideboard. I'll say that is a very good sideboard plan that will get you a lot of victories. They're going to bring in a lot of dead cards into their deck. I would bring in the Relic of Progenituses and stuff like that. I would never assume that Goblin Char Belcher is coming. I mean, because if you mill your entire deck, they get to see the whole thing. And I'd be going through the deck, and I'm like, well, there's no Goblin Charbelcher here. And then you side in Goblin Charbelcher, and you just totally get me. It's a very clever sideboard plan. It's very, very smart. I'm just wondering, I think some of these. What is the point of some of these cards? What you need, like Memory's Journey. Driven / Despair. Okay, I understand this one. Hagra's Mauling. Spell costs 1 less to cast if opponent controls no basics. Destroy target creature. Okay, this one's a land. So I don't mind any of the land cards. And I guess this is just mana fixing. Despair gives you your guys menace to attack. But like, aren't you like going to be like basically one already by the time this? Well, how quickly can you pull this off? Just out of curiosity. I'm just curious how quickly you can pull this thing off. Yeah, but why not just have a last Silver Smoke Ghoul and just go wide? I mean, that's a lot of power anyway. Desperate and Simeon lets for turn 3s. Yeah, I can see that. Well, I don't really have a whole lot of feedback for this. So you have Phantasmagorian. When you play Phantasmagorian, any player may discard 3 cards. If a player does counter Phantasmagorian, discard 3 cards. Return Phantasmagorian from your graveyard to your hand. When you play this card, any player may discard 3 cards. So the point is you want this thing in the graveyard first so you can discard 3 cards, like 3 prized amalgams that end up in your hand. But ideally, you don't want this in your hand. I'm sure there's some way of is there a way of discarding it? Well, anyway, I think the deck is sick. I think the deck is really cool. And I really like the sideboard plan. I really can't... Okay, I'm just going to assume everything is good on it. Because I can't really leave... I don't want to give any feedback to these niche 1-ofs when there's probably some like really important... plan for these. They seem a bit odd to me, but I'm just gonna have to guess that these are all like really important to the archetype. But I think the main deck seems a bit silly to me, but the sideboard plan seems really hot because this goes like any cards that were aside from just brute counter spells, any sideboard cards that are coming in for a dredge deck are not going to hit the Belcher plan very well. So I think this sideboard plan is like really, really cool. Although you might, if you lose to, I will say this, if you lose too early before your opponent actually sees what this deck is, they'll assume you're a Belcher deck because they saw these lands. And they saw you sort of doing maybe Belcher things with a Desperate Ritual and a Manamorphose or something like that. But that's all I can say about it. So I really don't want to give any feedback on this list. Just like, hey, throw it into Modern and see how well it does. It's a sound idea. That's all I can say. It's a sound idea. And I like that it takes I mean, the most important thing out of this was the sideboard plan. That you can take a second angle to this deck and really throw your opponent off. Some of my biggest losses in competitive Magic is when my opponent had a transformational sideboard, and like, so okay, so now I have 16 dead cards in my deck, and I went straight into an easy loss because I just could not predict what my opponent was going to do. And you can always play that mind game with them, and then like if they want to bring in like hedge some graveyard hate, some Charbelcher hate, then it waters down their strategy even more, and even their sideboard hate. So anyway, good luck with it. So that's going to be it today for Coffee and MTG. I had a great conversation. We had some great lists being presented today. And the most wonderful thing today is I'm going to get a haircut. I cannot wait. I'm waiting for my my appointment as we speak. But yeah, thank you very much for everyone showing up today. We had a lot of fun, and I will see you at the next cup. Oh, by the way, who do we raid? Everyone, give me someone to raid before we leave. Yeah, bald Nikachu. I won't be bald. I'm gonna get a little. Some of this gonna go away. So I'm gonna give the option to everybody. Who do we raid today? Bring me your candidates. You're welcome, Monster CC. And good luck with the deck. The OG mirror. What is the OG mirror? Blue-white mill versus blue-white grindstone versus blue-white grindstone. Is Aspiring Spike online right now? Oh, he is. Ugly Hood Rat, do you have one? Is Croaky's online? Okay, I might... Okay, I'll raid Croaky's only because I've never raided him before. I want to raid. Gotta mix it up. What is Reed streaming? Okay, we'll read. Okay, I'll raid Reed. Never raided Reed. Oh, he's streaming Arena. That's all good. All right. Yeah, I'll enjoy the great Reed Duke, Lord and Master of the Jund decks. Thank you very much for showing up today, and I'll see you next time.